My top 10 for Division 1 FBS football goes as follows: Michigan 1, Georgia 2, TCU 3, USC 4, Ohio State 5, Tennessee 6, Alabama 7, Penn State 8, Kansas State 9, Utah 10. Teams that outside looking in are like Washington, Clemson, Florida State, Oregon. And yes, I value head-to-head. Oregon State beat Oregon. Thus, this should be ahead. Just like Tennessee over Alabama. Which I don't get why on the AP vote poll, why they didn't do that. They just don't know. They're just biased. And they don't think that. Okay. Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, Penn State, Washington, Clemson, LSU, Utah, not Utah State, Kansas State, Florida State, Oregon State, UCLA, Tulane, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Texas, UCF, UTSA, North Carolina, and Mississippi State. Now the coaches poll has the following: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, USC, Ohio State, Alabama, Penn State, Tennessee, Washington, Kansas State, Clemson, Utah, LSU, Florida State, Oregon State, UCLA, Tulane, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, Texas, North Carolina, UCF, UTSA, and Mississippi State. Well, the only way to me that Ohio State's going to get in the college football playoff is to have either USC or TCU lose. That's the only way. Of course, we know both of those teams need to win out just to get in college football playoff, both TCU and USC. In Michigan, they should get in regardless, but about if they lose, that could be a little question on where they're going to go. Same thing goes for Georgia. Now, there are some big news out there. First of all, David Shaw has resigned at Stanford after 12 seasons over there, and he's the all-time winningest coach. I think he was forced out because you got to keep in mind the last 4 years he's had 4 wins or less. That's including the COVID year. I mean, I'm telling the truth. Jake Spavital is out at Texas State. He was 13-35 there. So, in addition, Luke Fickell looks like he's going to be on the way to Wisconsin and leaving Cincinnati behind. So now Cincinnati has to find a new head coach, which, not only a new head coach, but an interim coach, which the interim is, and I know it's going to be official word tomorrow, but I'm just saying, Kerry Coombs is the interim coach. He's the special teams coordinator and defensive backs coach this year for Cincinnati. So, and has a long history with Cincinnati, and he could be a candidate for the head coaching position. So, as for the conference championship games, which I'm going to go to every group of 5 and every Power 5. I'm going to start with the group of 5 first and build that on the way up. I'm going to start with the MAC Conference Championships. It's between Ohio, that's 9-3, but they lost their quarterback, versus Toledo. I get Ohio is a favorite in this game. I get it, but they're without their quarterback for the rest of the season. So, and wait a minute. Ohio is not favored. Toledo is favored by 3.5. Makes a lot of sense to me then. I'll apologize on misspeaking on that. And you kind of take those offensive numbers for a grain of salt. of salt, as in like very little at this point for Ohio because they're without their star quarterback. Defensively, Ohio is the weaker of the worst of the two. Not in just terms of points per game, but defense of like yards overall. I'm picking Toledo to win this game. That's the way I'm seeing this. I do think that's going to happen. Now, the Mountain West is between Boise State and Fresno State. And Boise State's been on fire since they got rid of that offensive coordinator. I'm not lying. You got to look at the numbers. Now, I believe Boise State is playing this at Boise. I think so. They're 8-0 in conference play. Fresno State is 7-1, 8-4 overall, and Boise State's 9-3. Yeah, they're in Boise. The offensive edge goes to Fresno State, but the defensive edge is Boise State. Give me Boise to win this game at home. So, I know some of these games are like on Friday instead, but still. Now, the Conference USA is between North Texas and UTSA. UTSA's only lost 2 games this year. Texas and Houston in that crazy first game of the year. They pretty much won every game after that. But I will say, UTSA is favored by 8.5 points. And this game is being played at... Let me get this correct. In the Alamo Dome. UTSA and matchup predictor 74.3% chance of winning. And I get the favorite by 8.5. I know points per game wise, North Texas is worse of the two. But offensively, UTSA has that too. But both defenses give up over 408 yards per game. But UTSA 408.1, but 258.4 through the air. While North Texas does allow 451.6, 266.3 through the air. Ooh, this is battle of bad defenses here. I expected this to be high scoring, and I believe they've already played once this year. I didn't go over what happened in that. Yeah, North Texas actually played UTSA at UTSA this year and only lost by 4 points. But that was back in October 22nd. Do I think UTSA is going to beat them twice? It's hard to beat a team twice. It is. But give me UTSA and Jeff Traylor. Though I know the defensive coordinator from North Texas and Phil Bennett through his interactions with them. And I'm actually going to go right back and see if Boise State's already, if they have played Fresno State this year. And I'm going to do the same thing for Ohio in that MAC game real fast before I get to like the American. Yeah, Boise's already played Fresno. Boise beat them at home, 40-20. I mean, that's now. The MAC championship game, which then I'm gonna go to like the other 2 Group of 5 conferences after this. And I get the MAC has Akron at Buffalo, but I'm not going to cover that game. That's not a conference championship game. But if I had to choose, Buffalo wins. over 1 win Akron. So, sorry. I'm not going to cover that. So, Ohio has, now I'm going to look. Have they played? Nope, they have not played them this year. So, this is going to be an interesting game here. Now, I'm going to go to the Sun Belt, then I'm going to go to the American. That game is between Coastal Carolina, that's currently 9-2. They didn't play that game with Virginia, remember, because they decided not to. But Coastal Carolina is coming off of a 47-7 loss to James Madison on the road. Yikes. And they probably would have beat Virginia if the game was played, but still it doesn't matter. Troy is 10-2 on the year. Ooh, man. Coastal is a good feel-good story the last few years here, but Troy this year, man, they turned it around. I mean, they really truly have turned it around. Yeah, Troy has not played against Coastal this year. Coastal Carolina is without Grayson McCall, their star quarterback, so I can't really take anything away from that offense in terms of stats this year. So, but the defensive edge goes to Troy. And this game is being played in Veterans Memorial Stadium. But I'm going to get the definite points per game edge in terms of offense goes to Coastal Carolina, but like I said, no Grayson McCall. That's a problem. But the defense allows 28.7. Troy only allows 16.8, yet they score only 24.6. Who wins this game? The problem for Coastal Carolina, to me, that's why they're going to lose, is the pass defense. 278.7 passing yards per game allowed, where Troy averaged 247.4. Yikes. Give me Troy in this game. Though it's Troy's favored by 7, so now the American Conference title game. UCF hung on last game against USF. And they did lose to Navy in their only conference game this year, which was a bad loss. I mean, a really bad loss. Tulane's favored by 2.5 in this game. These two teams played each other before. And Tulane is going to play back at home just like they did last time. These two teams met each other already this year. And UCF beat them at their place. And it was like really recent, like November 12th. And Tulane lost by 7 points. Do I think UCF is going to beat them twice at their place? No, I don't. Give me Tulane. And they're going to be the highest ranked Group of 5 team to be in the New Year's Six Bowl game. The winner of this game, regardless, but it's only favored by 2.5, so that's a pretty close game. We're not to see Cincinnati in this, but, and of course, this is the last year for UCF, who's going to the Big 12 next year. Now, let me go to the ACC in terms of their title game. It's Clemson versus North Carolina. North Carolina's been on downslope recently, while North Carolina has. But Clemson's been on the downslopes too. They lost to Notre Dame pretty handily at Notre Dame. And now they just lost to South Carolina by a single point. You don't want to play Clemson off of a loss. because they will bounce. They are wanting to bounce back in a big way, and they don't usually lose back-to-back games here. Have these two teams played each other this year? No. So, yeah, North Carolina's defense does worry me a lot. So, I know that North Carolina's offense is good, but give me Clemson, but I don't trust that Clemson offense either. I mean, why they keep on using DJ Ungulate, I don't know. And Clemson even lost at home. So, give me Clemson, but they might not cover the 8 points. Yeah, and this game means nothing for the ACC in terms of college football playoff now. Nothing. Now, let me go to the Big Ten. It's pretty much what I consider the winner of Michigan versus Ohio State game is going to is going to beat whoever's in the Big Ten West, because you know that division is so bad. They need to get rid of divisions. But I think they're going to once USC and UCLA join. And they're going to play 8-4 Purdue. Michigan's favored by 16 points. Well, I'm just going to say this. Purdue got fortunate to be in this position. That is a chaotic deal. In terms of yardage, and I know some of these numbers are skewed because of Michigan's weak strength of schedule, offensive edge goes to Michigan. But I will say, Purdue has a good offense too. But Michigan's defense owns a definite edge. I mean, and I know the run defense for Purdue is only allowing 128.8. But give me Michigan in this game. But I'm not sure they're going to cover. Has these two teams played each other this year? No, they haven't. So, give me Michigan. And they're going to the college football playoff. Now, I'm going to go to the SEC. SEC because that's not as meaningful. It's Georgia versus LSU. And Georgia is favored in this game, like we all expected. But they are favored by 16.5, and LSU lost to A&M on the road. And this game is practically a road game, even because, you know, the SEC title game's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's in their backyard for Georgia. Georgia, no matter what happens here, they're going to get in. Even if they lose. It's just a matter of seeding. Same thing goes for Michigan. But, man, LSU looked bad last game against A&M. Definite edge defensively is Georgia, but not to say LSU's not. They only allow 347.7. But good luck. I mean, I do think LSU could make it a fight, but I think Georgia ultimately wins this game. I don't know if they're going to cover, though. LSU's going to come off angry, but have these two teams played each other this year? I'll have to wait and see. Georgia has not played LSU this year. They haven't. Georgia is going to win this game regardless, like I said. Now, I'm going to go to the Pac-12. And it's between USC and Utah. Remember, Utah defeated USC by a point last time. It's hard to beat a team twice, and USC's defense does concern me. It does, because Utah could match step for step with USC. I know they can. They proved it. But do I think USC is going to lose to them twice and miss out the college football playoff? This is a coin flip game to me. Coin flip. And Utah is very lucky to be in this position because they needed Oregon to lose and Washington to win, and they had a strength of schedule in Pac-12 on their side. So that's why they got in. And I'm going to check who's favored first. I'm pretty sure USC is. Okay, it's a little slow for whatever reason. It is. But I apologize for that delay. I want to check who's favored first. This, like I said, it's gonna be an instant. This is a 50-50 game, and I expect an instant classic here, just like last time. But do I think, like I said before, do I think USC loses to them twice and misses out on the college football playoff? It's hard to beat a team twice, but give me USC to get in the college football playoff in year one under Lincoln Riley. Though it will be close, just like it was last time, and I'm pretty sure they want revenge after what happened from the time before. USC is only favored by 2.5, by the way. So it's a pick 'em. Now the last game of all games is TCU versus Kansas State. Remember, last time Kansas State played TCU in Manhattan, they were up 28-10, but injuries occurred at quarterback. Adrian Martinez, who's no longer started, by the way, for Kansas State, mind you, got knocked out of the game. Got hurt first drive of the game. Then Will Howard got hurt. They had to go to a third-string quarterback for a little bit, but then Will Howard came back, but he was not fully healthy. And they got outscored 28-0 after that, after that 28-10 lead. And Kansas State got in because they beat Kansas 47-27. By the way, even if despite Texas winning over them and Texas beating Baylor, so I'm going to predict that this is going to be like last time. It's going to be a close game here. But ultimately, I foresee the Big 12 cannibalizing itself. And thus, TCU misses out on the college football playoff. Because Kansas State wants revenge after what happened last time. And yes, it's essentially a home game for TCU. It is. Because it's in Arlington. TCU is only favored by 2.5. But TCU's defense concerns me. They do. Look what Baylor did to them. Despite winning that game. TCU did. Look what Baylor did to them. They pushed them. They had every opportunity to win that game. They would have been a loss. That should have been a loss. I'm just telling the truth. One first down, TCU will miss the college football playoff. Kansas State owns the defensive edge. 357.3 yards per game allowed. TCU allows 383.5. That coming off of a good showing against Iowa State, but Iowa State's terrible. Yes, I give the definite edge to TCU. But the offensive edge. But here's the deal. Will Howard is better passer than Adrian Martinez. And he's fully healthy. Unlike the last time that he tried to came back and play. And Kansas State's so extremely balanced on offense. 211.5 passing yards per game. 210 rushing yards per game. That's going to be a challenge for TCU to stop. And I think Kansas State's going to kind of do what Baylor did in a way of like dominate time possession, dominate the yards difference in the game here, and not only that, they limit their penalties like a good coach, Chris Klieman coach, has done. I mean, and give me Kansas State to upset TCU and knock them out of the college football playoff. I know it sounds nuts, but Kansas State's offense is good enough to knock off TCU with that quarterback in Will Howard. In addition, that defense only allows 19.4 points per game. I know they gave up 38 last time. I know they did. But I expect a totally different game plan. And they're not going, once they have a 2-possession lead or more, Kansas State won't let down like they did last time. And let's remember, TCU in every Big 12 game, except the Oklahoma game and the Iowa State game, has been within 10 points. At some point, you're flirting with disaster and you're going to get burned and you're going to miss the college football playoff. And even if they lose this game, I don't see TCU getting in over Ohio State. I'm sorry. Both teams are one-loss teams, and one made a title game, one didn't. But come on now. And even if TCU does win this game, I don't see him beating Michigan or Georgia. I just don't. So either way, the Big 12 is going to either get beat in a college football playoff or they're going to miss it. I think they miss it because history in the Big 12 has proven it's a very competitive league in the last few years. And I mean, I just don't think it's going to beat each other up and just miss the playoff again. Just like last year. I mean, anyways, I just want to go over these picks. Like and subscribe if you're not already. Let's get up to 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year or sometime in the future.